So there's a piece that's missing. We're going to put together a puzzle. You understand what a puzzle is, right? And if you don't get all the pieces in the puzzle, you can't see the picture. You can be very proud of yourself if you give this information, what we covered. Do you understand? So I'm actually going to do some pieces of the course itself. So the first piece is, it's a puzzle. And you need to have all the pieces. So while we're putting a puzzle together, you can't see everything. So do you know what you're left with when you can't see everything? Somebody? What are you left with? So what happens when you can't see all the pieces? What is your experience when you can't see all the pieces and you're putting a puzzle together? What are you left with? What are you present to? Somebody? Well, you can't see the whole picture yet, right? Because we only have one piece or two pieces of our puzzle on board. There's a picture I want to paint for you, right? We have one piece so far. You have one piece so far, which is, this is going to be hard, right? That's one piece of the puzzle. Now I'm coming with a second piece here. This is the second piece. What are you left with when you can't see all the pieces? What are you left with? What are you present to when you can't see the whole picture? What? It's not complete. So what's your experience when something's complete? What do? How do you relate to it? This is how incomplete?
Completeness, and I guess something that I miss.
So there's
Oh,
so you fill in the spaces yourself. Yeah, very good. Yeah. And what's your chance of knowing something for what it is if you're filling in all the pieces yourself? What's your chances of knowing something new if you're filling it in?
0%.
Huh?
0%.
Nothing. Well, you're left with what you've always had, right?
But you don't have anything.
Exactly. You don't have anything new. You don't. You have the same old life you always had. It doesn't make anything available. So I'm committed to make a difference in your life. That's what I'm here for. But if you're going to end up with the same old thing you walked in here for, what good is that, right? So what else? Yeah. So what else are you left with when you don't see all the pieces of the puzzle? So what emotion is there when you don't see all the pieces? Let's say you didn't fill in the blanks with what you already know. Huh? Confused. Let's see. Confused.
Angry.
Yes. Irritated. Very good. Disappointment. I'm not going to spell this right. I'm just going to read it. It's not about what you already know. This is a breakthrough in a whole new science of leadership and being a leader and exercising leadership effectively. Now, in order to be a leader, it's a good idea to be up to something. So if you're up to something trivial, this is going to be a waste of your time. But if you're up to something big, the bigger you're up to something, the bigger a difference this is going to make, okay? I'm going to use a couple of minutes and take a religious metaphor, okay? From, I think it's Buddhism. So are you anybody aware of the Temple of Wisdom? You know, they have these structures, and so they go to these temples, and outside the temples are a couple of figures. Does anybody know what they are? What you call those figures outside the temple? Huh? No. Is that a no? Right, so here we have, this is the temple, okay? The Temple of Wisdom. And outside the temple are these kind of like dog things, right? Do you know what I'm talking about? Has anybody seen this? Yeah? Yeah, okay, good. These are food dogs, right? Or food lions. And one of them is confusion. And the other one is paradox. So, to go to the temple and get your wisdom, you need to be able to be with paradoxical information, and you'll be confused. There's a few pieces. We've got a few pieces in. We have some background, but we're only have a few pieces of the puzzle in the picture. So now we're going to put some more pieces in, all right? So there's where you're at right now, and where you want to be. So here's where you want to end up. You know, you're going to have your degree, but here's where you are right now, right? So this is a gap where you are and where you want to go. There's a gap. And you need to bridge the gap, right? So there's your relationship. Let's look at your relationship to the gap. You understand what I'm saying? You have a relationship to that gap. Can somebody tell me what your relationship to that gap is?
It's natural that we have that gap because we can't know our future, we can't predict it. But there is interesting to build this bridge. To that
Okay, so it's interesting.
Yes.
Okay, so the gap is interesting for you. Alright, it's not interesting for everybody. So what's your relationship to the gap?
We don't care.
No. Say it again.
We don't care.
You don't care. That's a valid relationship to a gap is being indifferent. Yeah, you understand the word indifferent?
Yes.
Yeah? So indifference, what other way can you relate to the gap? So what do we have? Interest. It's interesting. Interesting. Indifferent. You can be indifferent. What else? A great expectation. Oh, okay, hopeful. You can be hopeful. Yeah? Hope. What else?
Fearful.
Huh?
Fearful.
Fearful. Yeah, you can be afraid. Anything else? There's lots of them, right? Every one of you has a different one. Maybe a shade difference from somebody else, and they could be like really close. Here's another piece of the puzzle. So you have coaches. You do. You have coaches in your relationship. In doing and making this trip, this transition, you have a coach. Do you know who your coaches are?
Yes.
Huh?
Our teachers.
Yeah, exactly. They're committed to you here. And this is what you bring to the party, yes? You bring this to the party. Although I don't think you realize it all, like you're present to it on a day-to-day basis. This is just kind of automatically there. You haven't taken the time to actually create anything. It's just automatic. It's just automatic. You don't have to do anything. Just wake up in the morning and you're either afraid or hopeful. And it moves around, right? It changes. And you think you're never going to get out of this place, yeah? So it's all over the place, up and down. Yeah? And then you have your coaches. You have a coach. Now, what's your relationship to your coach?
It depends.
Yeah, whether you like them or not. Yes. So your life has to do with your opinion about your coach and whether you like them or not. You're going to make them responsible for your success. Yeah, that's one possible relationship to your coach. Yes? Is that an empowering relationship? Huh? Is it empowering to relate to your coach who's committed to you in that way? So what was
It depends on the teacher.
Depends. It depends on the teacher, right? Whether you like them or not. Is that what you mean? Depends? Depends. What other relationship can you have to your teacher?
Respect.
Huh?
Respect.
Respect? Okay. You can respect
Afraid.
Yeah, you can be afraid of them. Oh, you can hate them. Oh, sure you can hate them. That's easy. That's the easiest thing to do. None of those are particularly empowering. In fact, your velocity of getting from here to there and your success probably is going to be slowed down. So, very few of us all demand a demand for coaching. Give me all you got, teacher. I'm here to get everything I can get. Just give me what you got so I can get to where I want to go. That would be an empowering relationship, wouldn't it? Wouldn't it? Yeah? Yeah, human beings, you know human beings are not wired to have empowering relationships, right? You know how men and women, they get together? For the most part, they don't have empowering relationships. It's all about surviving. It's like, y'all are surviving your teacher, yeah? But there's no power in it. Can you see that? I can see you're getting this conversation. Does anybody not have a how about or nah, that's not true or I don't get it? If you don't know that this is how human beings are wired and this runs our lives automatically, all you have to do is be born a human being and this is your relationship. This is how we construct our relationships. We survive in them, don't we? We survive, we make it to the other side. We don't care about empowering them. Are getting empowered ourselves. We're thrown to survive in our relationships with our teachers. Can you see that?
Yes.
Can you see? You know it's like you're not bad people, but that's automatic. That's what we inherited as a human being. You get born a human being, you don't have empowering relationships as a default. You don't. We don't. Yeah? Yeah. Now, you could create having empowered relationships with your teacher. You could just stand for that. We haven't covered the distinction stand yet. But we do have another piece of the puzzle, is your relationship to your coach. Right? So I'm your coach in the area of leadership. Being a leader and exercising leadership effectively. I would be your coach if you did this course. Of your relationship to teachers and coach. We'll go into this as partners, fully committed to you getting the result. Okay? And so we would create that. Alright, so now you've got another piece of the puzzle. Is anybody confused and it seems paradoxical? Anybody in that spot? It's okay if you are. Okay, well let's talk about the next piece. So we got that piece in about coaching, right? And your relationship to coach. Whether you're a demand for coaching or not. I just want you to see human beings' relationship to coaching is not powerful. We survive our teachers. Some of us will get coaching when we're in breakdown. Do you know what I mean by breakdown? When you have a breakdown, when something happens really bad and you don't know what to do, some of us will then go get coaching. And it is possible to get coaching when things are well. When things are going well and you're in the zone. One of the most famous hockey players in the U.S., I don't know if you know this, Bobby Paul. What hockey is, right? He has the fastest, most accurate slap shot. You know what a slap shot is? Slap shot, that's when you, right? And that thing sucker takes off. And then that knocks the goalie into the net when it's so strong, right? He has that kind of slap shot. But he has 7 coaches to coach him, and he doesn't need another coach. But that's what he's a demand for, is that kind of excellence. I mean, you could be that too, if you like. There's 3 parts to the leadership course. And in part 3, we discuss constraints. I want to talk about this thing called an amygdala hijack, which is a functional constraint. A functional constraint is amygdala hijack. Do you know what amygdala is? It's this little part in our brain. It's in the center. It watches things that are a threat to us. Now, there's a part of the brain that categorizes all the things that happen to us, right? All the good things. But really likes to categorize all the bad things. And if something is happening in the current moment that looks like a bad thing in the past, right? The brain automatically shuts down the frontal cortex. And if there's something in the current environment that reminds you of something that happened before, you're going to react to that as though it's happening now, even though it's not. And it's going to be automatic, and you won't have any choice. You ever been like upset with your boyfriend or something, or upset with your parents, and it's like all of a sudden something happens and boom, right? You're on rails. You're like angry. You leave. It's either fight or flight or freeze. That's the other, right? And then you swear, I'm never going to do that again to yourself, right? I'm going to be calm. And then the thing happens again, and you punch his lights out again, whatever you do. Right? You leave, go get another one, right? It's all automatic. It's all in the design of the brain. It's a functional constraint. And if you don't know you have this functional constraint, human beings have things mean stuff. And you have that mean stuff about yourself. I'm not a good person. Or when people around you have amygdala hijack, you say, they're not good people. I need to stay clear of them. Teachers have amygdala hijacks when you don't turn in your homework. And this is automatic. There's hormones that shut down the front of your brain and activates the back part of your brain. And you're on rails. That's just what it is to be a human being. And if you don't know that, we do a lot of mischief with that. But it's just an amygdala hijack. It's just your amygdala has hijacked your critical thinking part of the brain. There's hormones that flow out that stop you from thinking rationally. Sometimes hormones get involved and you think you love somebody. That's an amygdala hijack. It's all just responding to this programming that's there. So that's another piece of the puzzle. To be a leader and exercise leadership effectively, you need to know about this amygdala hijack. You need to be able to distinguish when it's there so it doesn't stop you from taking effective actions. You can have an amygdala hijack and take about a 20-minute break, or give them 20 minutes or so, and the hormones, start settling down, and your frontal cortex will start coming back online, and then you can actually see what to do. But if you think there's something wrong with you or wrong with other people, that's going to limit your effectiveness of being a leader. Can you see that? Yeah? Okay, should we go on?
Yes.
All right, we're going to do a tough piece now. All right? A tough piece. And see if you can catch yourself having an amygdala hijack, like glazing over, going out of communication. All right? So here on the front page, introduction, being a leader and exercising, and effective exercise of leadership. So research has shown that if I read to you, and you read to yourself, and we go along together, your retention will increase 44%. Okay? So the course, when you're in the course, there's a series of slides. And somebody will read the slides to you, and you can see the slides. We don't have a slide projector, so this is a stand-in for slides. Okay. So here we go. This course is developed at Harvard University. Can you see where I'm at? Okay. U.S. Air Force Academy, Erasmus Academy, Rotterdam, Texas A&M University. This course gives you access as your natural self-expression to the ways of being, creative imagination, thinking, planning, and action required to be a leader, and to exercise leadership effectively. Did you get that?
Yes.
Yeah. Everybody get that? All right. It is specifically designed to provide you with the tools needed to achieve significant breakthroughs. You know the word breakthroughs? Breakthroughs? Do like this. Right? Or do like this. What? You don't know what breakthroughs is? Okay, good. Thank you. So here's time, right? As time goes along, and here's the thing that you want to impact. Let's say it's happiness or something. And you're going along, and I don't know, maybe you're going up and down, and like this, right? That's how things normally go. A breakthrough is all of a sudden you start functioning at a new level. Just all of a sudden, it's like a quantum leap. That's a breakthrough. Clear? It is specifically designed to provide you with the tools needed to achieve significant breakthroughs in your professional and personal lives, in any environment, no matter what the circumstances. Everybody get that?
Yes.
This new model of leadership and its practice is applicable to all spheres, including personal and family leadership, politics and government, and any place else in which you're committed to make a difference. Got that? Nobody has a hijack. Think about hijack? Nobody's going unconscious? That's great. So this course is an on the playing field kind of course. It's not, you're in the stands, and I'm going to go be down here, and I'm going to say, see how they did that? That's what I want you to do. We aren't going to do that. But that's the normal way, at least in the U.S., we teach leadership, is by emulating what other people do, and studying powerful people who've been successful. Right? But it doesn't give you access to leadership. It doesn't. But this distinction of amygdala hijack, if you have that in your back pocket, you're very powerful if you know about that. Because you aren't stopped now. Is that clear? Okay. So here we go. This is getting a little bit more rigorous. Okay? This course has a track record of making a significant difference for participants, whether they already successfully hold major leadership positions or have had little or no leadership experience. Did you get that? Consequently, even for those of you who do not have all the experience and knowledge you need to be a truly extraordinary leader, just as will be the case with those with prior leadership experience. When you have completed this course, each of you will have experienced whatever personal transformation is required for you to be a leader as your natural self-expression in any environment, no matter what the conditions you are confronted. That's kind of a long sentence, isn't it? Did you trap it? Yeah? Did you get that? Everybody get that? All right. Wow. That's impressive. Even when you personally lack certain experience or knowledge, you will know what to do to be an effective leader. The promise of this course: you will leave this course being a leader and exercising leadership effectively as your natural self-expression. Anybody want to say anything, have any questions about this section? Yeah.
can you imagine a country where everyone is a leader?
Yes.
It would be crazy. I can't
Can I
imagine.
imagine a country where everyone
Is a leader.
is a leader?
And you need a leader for leaders.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? In this course, I don't know if we'll get to this, but in this course, you take on a promise bigger than your. I'm just amplifying what you said, okay? You take on a promise bigger than you know yourself that you can do. In this course that I did, it was like a leadership course, we call it an impossible promise. My impossible promise is to decrease the deaths by self-inflicted injury in Ukraine and Russia significantly. And my plan is to have this leadership course in all the universities in Ukraine and Russia. That was my promise in 2008. And I had no way of knowing how to do it. I had no clue. This promise is way bigger than what my personality could accomplish. And then my Russian teacher, Nina, I shared this with her. And then she said, well, we can go down here and we can talk to this university. You should see the hoops that she jumped through to get me here in front of you. And then all of a sudden there's this other lady in Moscow. There's a university there. And all of a sudden, these doors keep opening up. And it actually gives me a different life. If we graduate 1,000 people from Ukraine a year, I don't know, maybe it could be even more, as they go through this course in the university, and they have a promise that's like mine, it's impossible, well, two things will happen. One is what you said, is can you imagine what 1,000 people with a promise to impact something so huge they don't even know what it is. You can't even imagine what that would make available. It's unimaginable. And at the same time, I assert that people killing themselves is a function of some kind of cynicism and resignation, like giving up, right? But if you have an impossible promise, or people around you, you don't even have to have one yourself, people around you have an impossible promise, how can you be so resigned that you would want to kill yourself? You couldn't. Because you're up to something. You're up to making a difference. It's impossible, you don't know how to do it, but you're taking steps, you're taking actions. Right? Your life is given by this future that you created, not by the thing that we inherit where we think we're no good. We have it that we're no good. Right? There's something wrong with us and we're no good. We go there automatically all the time. Do you know what I'm talking about? Yeah? Yes? No? Does anybody not have that? I mean, that conversation, you wouldn't be killing yourself if you thought you were okay or you were good. And this course is going to impact other things. It's going to impact trade, gross domestic product, tourism. Y'all have amazing resources here. Amazing. You're the breadbasket of all of Asia. Did you know that out of every 151 people on the planet, one of them is a Ukrainian? One out of 151 people on this planet is a Ukrainian. Pretty impressive. There's a lot of y'all. You can make a big difference. We get this in the university system, which is exactly what you're saying, and that's what I'm thinking. And, where's Vladimir? Him too, the guy that was erased with work, he did tons of work